You remember not too long ago, there was this liberal stronghold. And I use past tense. There was a liberal stronghold in Toronto, St. Paul. Well, that didn't turn out as planned for the radical woke liberals. It turns out that stronghold was actually a conservative stronghold in the making. And now that the new guy, Don, has been brought into Parliament, he's been sworn in officially. That happened on the first day back. He is now has a seat behind Pierre Poilievre, speaking on behalf of the Conservatives. And that's what we're going to take a look at today, along with a couple other things here, like Uncle Brock, right, gets his first at bat since the summer break, and man, Brock knows what he is talking about. He is intimidating. So welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy these clips as much as I do, because it's very important to share these out to as many people as possible. We are heading into the most pivotal moment in Canadian history ever, where it seems like democracy itself is at stake, and you got the only party in the House that's actually fighting for Canadians, which would be the Conservatives. So here we go. Hope you like this video. Hope you're subscribed to the channel and enjoy this clip. Hey, new guy! Put some W's in the chat, folks. New guy. Toronto, St. Paul. That's the Liberal stronghold.
Mr. Speaker.
Let's go.
9 years, the NDP Liberals. Taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, time's up. Just last week, we heard 1 million people in Ontario are accessing food banks. Meanwhile, the NDP leader supports the Prime Minister, keeps him in power, and supports his crushing carbon tax increases. I just finished a successful by-election campaign. Why will the NDP Liberals not let Canadians decide about the carbon tax and call a carbon tax election now?
There you go. We'll work on it, but that was good. That was a good first at bat. Yeah, new guy. Liberal stronghold. How does it feel, Liberals? That was supposed to be your seat. Womp womp. Womp womp. Yeah, you see Brock smashing the table going, let's go.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to welcome my new colleague to this place. It's important, of course, to always be open and transparent with Canadians, and what we see is someone else who knows how to repeat three-word slogans as opposed to be able to deliver for Canadians. Mr. Speaker, what the members opposite are doing are trying to evade what they actually plan to deliver for Canadians. So I hope that the member opposite can be more honest and transparent with Canadians moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's a good hope.
The honourable member from Brantford, Grant.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and now time is up. Canadians are feeling more unsafe than ever. Violent crime up 50%, sex assaults up 75%, car theft 46%, and shockingly violent gun crime over 100%. Will the Liberals finally join Conservatives in protecting Canadians and demanding jail, not bail, for repeat violent offenders?
There you go. W's for Brock, huh? Welcome back. Welcome back, Uncle Brock.
The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General for Canada.
Mr. Speaker, my fundamental job is to keep Canadians safe. Here's what we've been doing in the last 12 months. We've increased...
Colleagues, I would appreciate being able to hear the Honourable member's response. The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General for Canada, from the top, please.
Mr. Speaker, my fundamental job is to keep Canadians safe. Here's what I've been doing the last 12 months. I proposed new offences for money laundering. The Conservatives voted against. I've increased the penalties for violent carjackings. The Conservatives voted against. I and my colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, have put $160 million to aid the CBSA and law enforcement in detecting and stopping car thefts. Car thefts are down 17% over the last 6 months compared to last year. There's still more work to do. We're going to continue to do that work. While the Conservatives shout slogans, we are going to keep Canadians safe.
Yeah, it obviously ain't working, buddy.
The Honourable Member from Brantford, Brant.
Simple fact is criminals have nothing to fear under the NDP Liberal legislation. Bill C-48 has done nothing to stop the crime in our communities. Instead of listening to premiers and law enforcement who have called for bail reform, the Justice Minister pretends that C-48 is a success. Mr. Speaker, it's an abject failure. When will the minister stop protecting criminals, start standing up for victims by reversing their catch and release policies?
The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I spent the summer listening to victims, and what they talk to me about is intelligent policies and approaches to crime. What we did is pass in this chamber, thankfully with the unanimous support, bail reform. The job is now on the provinces to ensure that that bail reform bears fruit. What am I talking about, Mr. Speaker? The people that decide bail decisions are justices of the peace and primarily provincial court judges appointed at the provincial level. The people that appeal bail decisions, such as my colleague in his former capacity, are provincial crown attorneys who are under the direction of provincial premiers and provincial attorneys general. When there's not enough jail space to keep people in jail who don't deserve bail, that's a provincial responsibility.
The Honourable Member from Halifax West.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On this day, 50 years ago, 32 women across Canada took the oath to become RCMP's first female officers. Wow. They became known as Troop 17. Today, we celebrate them and all women who have taken the oath since, who selflessly serve in the RCMP to keep Canadians safe. Can the Minister of Public Safety update this House on the efforts made to encourage more women to follow in their footsteps and join the RCMP?
Amazing.
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, 50 years ago, 32 brave women took the oath to become the first female RCMP officers. Despite facing challenges and discrimination throughout their careers, the women of Troop 17 persevered and have inspired thousands of women to proudly serve in the RCMP. Today, more than 1/5 of the RCMP regular members are women, and the RCMP continues its effort to recruit even more women to join the force. I know all colleagues will join me in celebrating the women of Troop 17 and all those who proudly serve in the RCMP today. Well done.
Man, who cares? We don't want cops being hired based off their sex.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of the NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. And now foreign access to Northern Cod is up. With the backing of the 6 Liberal Newfoundland and Labrador MPs, this government broke the promise to allocate the first 115,000 tonnes of Northern Cod to the inshore harvesters, and they caved to NAFO pressure to allow foreign countries back in with 5% of the Northern Cod quota. So this minister, Mr. Speaker, does she work for foreign nations or does she work for Canadians?
Whoa! Holy smokes!
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our government is aware of the cultural, economic, and historic importance of cod for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. That's why, after 30 years of closure, I announced new modern fishing, which will lead to significant windfall for Newfoundland and Labrador, all while leading to well-paying jobs. Our government is committed towards sustainable, prosperous fishing that will support the generations of today and tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from New Brunswick Southwest.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, and time's up for this atrocious Liberal fisheries minister. She failed to protect one of Atlantic Canada's most important industry, the lobster fishery. In my riding, there are no DFO enforcement officers along the Canada-U.S. border. Poachers from Maine are illegally fishing lobsters in our waters. They are stealing Canada's natural resources. 60 New Brunswick fishing boats held a peaceful protest Saturday, calling on the minister to enforce the law and protect Canadian sovereignty. Will she do her job, or will the Prime Minister fire her?
There you go, man.
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and
I don't think a single person would miss her as an MP, if I'm being honest.
Mr. Speaker, our DFO officers do a very difficult job. They do it every day. But The opposition keeps saying that there's no enforcement on our waters. Well, that is completely false. And moreover, Mr. Speaker, it's irresponsible. This work is ongoing.
The honourable member from New Brunswick Southwest had the opportunity to ask his question. I'm going to ask him to please hold his comments and let the minister respond to his question. And I'm certain he has an opportunity to ask questions again on the same issue. Then I have
the Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans, and with 12 seconds remaining. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If he can shout, I can shout. We are deploying the necessary additional resources in order to protect our oceans and our resources, Mr. Speaker.
the honourable member from South Shore, St. Margaret's.
After 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes, costs, and crime are up, and fisheries officers are refusing to patrol the Maritimes because these Liberals will not let them enforce the law. Poachers are attacking with shotguns and knives. Meanwhile, Liberal Fisheries Minister number 6 lives in denial, refusing to listen to the union. 20,000 pounds of lobster a day are poached through the Saulnier Wharf alone. Americans are fishing in Canadian waters. Will the Prime Minister listen to fishermen for a change, call an election so Conservatives can fix the fishery?
Hear, hear.
There you go.
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans.
Yeah, she's going to quit later this year, probably before the end of 2024.
I encourage my colleagues to listen to the English interpretation of what I'm about to say in French, Mr. Speaker. What's being suggested is totally false. DFO enforcement agents are doing their job, Mr. Speaker. And on this side of the House, we're not putting on a show. We're working because this is an important matter. This pertains to safety, the safety of our waters and on our waters, and what he's suggesting is totally irresponsible. We will continue to do the necessary work in the right way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Again, I'll ask members who ask questions to please ask their question and then listen to the response and then take up the question again when their turn has been offered. The honourable member from Richmond Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This summer, I was pleased to join the Minister of Health to sign 2 new healthcare agreements with British Columbia. These agreements will enhance wages for personal support workers and improve accessibility and affordability to medication across BC. Canadians believe in our healthcare system, and we must continue to build up a healthcare system for all generations. Could the Minister of Health please share with us how these agreements will support healthcare in BC?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for Richmond for his
Boo.
in health and to make sure
Boo.
the health system in the world. And
jumping out in the chat. Boo.
Columbia with an agreement that's going to make sure that healthcare assistants, what some call personal support workers, are getting a fair wage, making sure that we work in partnership that the people who keep our hospitals and our long-term care facilities and assisted care facilities going, as well as an essential agreement on pharmacare, making sure that every person in British Columbia has access to the contraceptives they need, has access to the diabetes medication they need, and yes, to menopause hormone treatment, Mr. Speaker. These are huge things for our health system.
Dude, get a woman up there to talk about that stuff. Like, it's just so bizarre.
The honourable member from Winnipeg Centre.
Mr. Speaker, the Liberals' failure to fund services through Jordan's Principle is endangering First Nations youth. In fact, in Winnipeg, Spirit Horse Action Therapy is owed almost $400,000. And the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society says this government's neglect is putting kids at risk. When will the Liberals respect their legal obligations to Jordan's Principle and ensure the health and safety of First Nations youth?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister for...
Mr. Speaker, I'm so proud to be part of a government that puts Indigenous children first.
You can tell how proud she is by her face.
After a decade of neglect with the previous Conservative government, ignoring their needs, leading to historic lawsuits, and of course the compensation required to make up for such a terrible omission. And we are making it right, Mr. Speaker. We're ensuring that no First Nations child goes without the care they deserve.
It's question period. The honourable member from Saanich, Gulf Islands.
Thank you. I have a question.
Lizzie Dizzy.
Minister. Northvolt
Dizzy Lizzie
is setting up on the contaminated lands of a previous place. There are jurisdictional impacts. Thousands of people signed a petition for a federal assessment. The mayors of Saint-Basile and McMasterville are wondering what the repercussions of this Northvolt plant will be. Will the minister use his powers to order an environmental impact assessment to study the impact of the Northvolt plant in Quebec? The Honourable Environment and Climate Change Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the member for Saanich Gulf Islands for her question. The Canada Impact Assessment Agency received a request for an impact assessment, so the impact assessment study is underway. The agency will make its recommendations in the upcoming weeks. The leader of the Green Party and I and many others in Canada are confused, though, about the NDP's position on carbon pricing. I did some door-to-door in La Salle et Marverdun over the weekend, and so many people told me that they don't understand the NDP's new stance because it would be harmful to the whole country.